Whenever you're watching this, know that I appreciate it. I really do. It is Monday morning, September 10th, 2018, and it is 6:48 in the a.m. Hence the darkness. Headed to work. Running just a tad bit behind, and I say a tad bit because I like to get there before 7. But as it stands right now, I'll probably get there exactly at 7. And I tell you what, I'm running behind because I slept. And I slept pretty well up until about 4 a.m. And then I was awakened, and then it became very difficult for me to go back to sleep when I tried to go back to sleep, but I did eventually go back to sleep. It didn't take too long. It didn't take as long as it normally takes. And I guess because I was just really tired. So it didn't take as long as it normally takes, but it did take a little bit. And when I went back to sleep, I slept again. Have you ever had a dream? Have you ever slept so well and had a dream that was so real that things that are happening outside in the real world are incorporated into that dream? This has only happened a few other times that I can remember, and I don't remember what the dreams were about, but I do remember it happening. But this time, for whatever reason, the dream was so intense and so real that the alarm was going off. And I thought it was the alarm because I had my phone in my dream. I had my phone in my hand, and I was running around trying to get to a job. I was working contract in the dream, and I was trying to get to a job, and I had the phone in my hand, and it was going off. The alarm was going off, and I looked at the phone and turned the alarm off, and I'm talking to people, and I'm yelling at people, and trying to get my point across to people. And I really hope this moth is on the outside, not the inside. Trying to get my point across to people, and the alarm is still going off, and I'm looking at the phone like, what's really going on? Why is this alarm still going off? I've already turned it off. Where is it? And I'm trying to get the alarm to go off, and then I realize that it's not in the dream, it's happening in real life. And that's when I woke up. And at this point, it was like, my alarm goes off at 5:30. But by the time I finally realized it was my alarm going off, it was 5:32. So for 2 minutes in my dream, I'm trying to get the alarm to go off on my phone that I have in my hand in my dream, when it's actually the alarm going off on my phone in real life. That's so bizarre. And I remember exactly what the dream was about, and I need to write it down. I have from time to time when I remember my dreams, I write them down, and then analyze them later. And I kind of already know what this dream is about, but I still need to write it down. But wow. It's Monday morning, honey. I just saw something in traffic. You all know I get distracted by the traffic, and some of the things that the crazy people do when they're driving. And I just saw something crazy. But I try to write the dreams down when I remember them so that I don't forget them, and then I try to analyze them later. And when I say analyze, I am by no means a dream interpreter. But I will pray about it to see what God is trying to say to me in the dream, because vividly, it's usually the Lord trying to say something to me, and I just need to hear what He's trying to say. But this particular dream was based around briefly my mother, my grandmother, my uncle, and I know my oldest son was in the dream, but I don't remember my other two being in the dream. So I need to write it down and pray about it and analyze it, so I can find out what it is that God is trying to say to me in this dream. For sure, I have an idea, but I want to be absolutely certain. So, yeah. I think I've mentioned this before, but I'm not 100% sure. I know that I've mentioned that my mother and my grandmother have passed on. My grandfather, my mom, my paternal grandmother, and then my maternal grandmother all passed away within a 2-year time frame. And two of those people were in my dream last night. And then my uncle, my mother's brother, my grandmother's other child, she only had 2, was in the dream, as well as my oldest child. And my grandmother suffered with Alzheimer's. And it was really bad, to the point where we did have to put her in a nursing home, which was not something I wanted to do necessarily, but because my health was failing, because I wasn't getting the rest trying to chase her around, my husband's health began to fail because he wasn't sleeping and he worked full-time. And then her doctor, just taking note to how her behavior had changed since my grandfather passed away, just advised it would be, it's the best thing for her. It's the best thing for us, but it's absolutely the best thing for her. So she suffered with Alzheimer's and eventually passed away from complications of. And my mom passed away before she did. My mom passed away. My grandfather passed away in 2015. My grandmother passed away in 2017. Both of my grandmothers passed away in 2017. So part of the dream was about an episode with my grandmother, and it was an Alzheimer's episode. And there were people in the house that it just didn't make sense to me that they were in the house. And some of them were, people that she had called, to make repairs, and ask them questions about billing. But these were things that had already been taken care of. But because she was going through papers, it didn't come to her mind that they'd already been taken care of. So she started calling people for this stuff, So we ended up with a house full of people trying to do work on the house that didn't need to be done because it had already been, handled. And then asking questions about payment, and brought my mom into it, and she's trying to figure out what's going on. And then it brought my son into it, and he's trying to help me understand why my uncle was living on the 3rd floor or had his girlfriend on the 3rd floor. It was a lot. We used to own a 2-flat with a basement unit, and my uncle was supposed to be in the basement. My grandmother was on the 1st floor, and the 2nd floor, I'm guessing, was supposed to be vacant based on the dream. The 2nd floor was supposed to be vacant. And this is the 2nd time that I've had this dream that the 2nd floor was supposed to be vacant and my uncle was there. But the 2nd floor was supposed to be vacant, and for whatever reason, he was allowing his girlfriend to stay up there. They were supposed to be in the basement, but he was allowing his girlfriend to stay up there. And at one point, I heard his girlfriend say something about my grandmother's possessions. And I got into an argument with him about her saying something about my grandmother's possessions. So it was a very vivid dream. And I need to write it down because it was so vivid. But yeah, so that's why I was running late, because I was in the midst of this dream and didn't want to come out of it, I guess, because the alarm was going off and I thought it was the alarm in the dream when it was actually the alarm on my phone in real life. So here's my question to you. Are your dreams vivid? Do you remember what you dream about? Do you remember what you dream about? Do you remember what you dream about at all? I don't know that I have a today's word of wisdom. Oh, I guess I do. Pay attention to your dreams. Pay attention to your dreams. Note your dreams and live your dreams, those that will bring you health, happiness, prosperity, and peace. Oh, this thing is still too loud. Good gracious. Health, happiness, prosperity, and peace. Pay attention to your dreams. Live them out. With that, I'm at work, 7 o'clock. Peace and blessings. Remember to walk in your purpose and know that I appreciate you.